rain came hard that night. It hit the roof like stones, fast and cold. The wind screamed through the cracks. I sat by the fire, staring at the empty chair across from me. Martha's chair. I hadn't moved it in 3 years. The clock ticked slow. I poured coffee, though it tasted like mud. I told myself I liked the silence. I told myself I liked the dark. Then I heard it. Hooves. Faint at first, then closer. A weak sound, broken rhythm. I stood, grabbed my coat, and opened the door. The storm slapped my face. A horse stumbled near the gate. A figure slid from the saddle and fell into the mud. "Hey!" I shouted. "Hold on!" I ran out, boots sinking deep in the wet earth. The horse neighed, shaking. The rider didn't move. I knelt beside her. She was small, soaked through, shivering. "Ma'am," I said, touching her shoulder. "You alive?" She lifted her face. Rain washed over it. Her lips trembled. "I need shelter." Her voice cracked like glass. I hooked my arms under hers and pulled her up. She was light, too light. "Easy," I said. "You're freezing." She clutched something in her hand, a torn, wet letter. "My brother," she whispered. "Please, help." "Inside," I said. "Now." I half carried her through the gate. The horse followed, limping. I led her into the house, sat her by the fire, and threw on 2 logs. Steam rose off her clothes. She wrapped her arms tight around herself. "Thank you," she said weakly. "Don't thank me yet," I said. "You might be a thief." Her head lifted, eyes dull but fierce. "I'm not." "Good," I said. "Because I don't like stealing." I took off my coat and hung it near the fire. She watched me, shaking. "You got a name?" I asked. She hesitated. "Evelyn." "Evelyn what?" Her eyes dropped to the floor. "Grant." The word hit me like a hammer. I froze. The fire popped behind us. "Grant?" I said slowly. "You sure about that?" "Yes," she said, voice trembling. "Evelyn Grant." I looked at her hard. The last man with that name ruined me once. Tom Grant. Stole half my herd, burned my fence, and left me bleeding in the dust. I turned away from her. My hands clenched without meaning to. "You got family around here?" I asked. "None," she said softly. "Just me. And this brother?" She nodded. "He's hurt. He's in the hills. You left him there?" "I came for help," she said. The rain came faster than I thought. "Where's he at?" "Old Miller's barn," she said. 2 miles east." I sighed. "You're lucky I'm not the kind of man I used to be." "I'll pay you," she said quickly. "I can work. I can clean. Anything. Just help him." "Save your breath," I said. "I'm not doing it for pay." Her eyes widened. "Then why?" I looked at the fire. "Because you knocked on my gate in the rain." She said nothing for a while. The storm roared outside, shaking the windows. I took a blanket from the chair and handed it to her. "Dry off," I said. "You'll catch your death." She took it, wrapping herself tight. "You live alone?" "I do. No wife?" "She's gone." "I'm sorry, don't be," I said. "She's where it's quiet." Evelyn looked down. The firelight made her face soft, sad. She had that look, the kind you get after burying too much. "Drink this," I said, pouring coffee into a tin cup. She sipped it slow. "Tastes strong." "Only way it works," I said. Her eyes lifted again. "You really don't want money?" I said no. "Then what do you want?" "Peace," I said. "That's all." She nodded. "Then we want the same thing." We sat in silence. Rain hammered the roof harder. Thunder rolled across the valley. "You said your brother's hurt," I said finally. "How bad?" "Bad enough," she said. "He can't walk? Gunshot?" She froze. "Why would you ask that?" "Because people don't hide in barns when they're fine." Her hands trembled around the cup. "He made mistakes. But he's good. Good men don't run," I said. She looked at me, tears in her eyes. "Sometimes they have to." I stared at the flames, the memory of Tom Grant burning through me. "The same name. Maybe the same blood. Finish that drink," I said. "I'll saddle the horse." "You'll go?" I said I would. "You don't even know me." "Maybe not," I said. "But I know what cold can do." She nodded slowly. "Thank you." I pulled my coat back on and grabbed the lantern. "Keep that fire alive," I said. "And don't steal nothing." "I won't," she said. "I know," I said. "You don't look like a thief." I stepped out into the rain again. It hit like nails. The mud swallowed my boots as I walked to the stable. I saddled Milo, my horse, old but loyal. He snorted at the wind. "Yeah," I said. "I don't like it either." We rode out through the storm, lightning tearing the sky. The hills loomed dark and cold. The road washed out in places, but I knew it by heart. Miller's barn came into sight, half rotten, leaning. I dismounted, lantern swinging. Inside I found him. A boy, maybe 16, pale and bleeding from the leg. The wound smelled bad. He opened his eyes, saw me, and tried to reach for something. "Easy," I said. "I'm not the law. Who are you?" He whispered. "Daniel Cole," I said. "Your sister sent me," he groaned. "She shouldn't have." "Why not?" "They'll follow." "They always do." "Who?" He coughed, eyes rolling back. "The sheriff's men." I tore open his pant leg. The bullet was still in there. I pressed my hand to the wound. He screamed. "Stay still," I said. "You want to live, right?" He nodded weakly. I pulled my belt off and tied it above the wound. "Blood soaked through anyway. You're lucky," I muttered. "Another inch, you'd be dead." He tried to smile. "Luck's never been kind." The morning came cold and gray. Rain still hung on the air. The sky looked tired, like it had cried all night. I sat by the table, hands wrapped around a warm cup of coffee. The fire crackled slow. The smell of wet earth filled the room. Evelyn stood near the door, her shawl damp, her hair loose from the night's storm. She hadn't said a word since I found her. She looked around my cabin like it wasn't real, like she'd stepped into someone else's dream. "You should sit," I said. "I can stand." She whispered. "You look weak." "I've been weaker." Her voice was small but sharp. It had a wound in it. I nodded toward the chair. "Suit yourself." She hesitated, then sat. Her fingers twisted the edge of her sleeve, rubbing it like it held a secret. I could see her shaking, though she tried to hide it. "You hungry?" I asked. She nodded. I pushed a plate toward her. "Bread, beans, a bit of bacon." She stared at it like it was gold. Then she whispered, "You're kind." "I'm not," I said. "Just a man who can't stand to watch someone starve." She smiled faintly. "That's kindness enough." I leaned back, studying her. The rain tapped against the window. My coffee went cold. "You said your name was Evelyn Grant." She froze. Her hand stopped halfway to her mouth. "I did. That name's familiar." "I know," she said. "You knew my husband." I felt my jaw tighten. "Tom Grant." "Yes." I looked away. "He stole cattle from me." "Years back." "I know. You knew and you still came here?" She lowered her eyes. "He's dead." "How?" She took a deep breath. "Drink, fire, debt. It doesn't matter now." "It matters to me." She looked up, her eyes dark and tired. "He hurt people." "I won't defend him." I stared at her for a long moment. Her face was pale but steady. I believed her. Still, his ghost filled the room. I felt the old anger rise like smoke. "You could have gone anywhere," I said. "I had nowhere." "Family? Gone. Money?" She shook her head. "None. Friends?" "One," she said softly. "She's sick." I leaned forward. "Then why come here?" Her eyes met mine. "Because you're not like him." I looked away. "You don't know me." "I know what kindness looks like," she said. "And what cruelty leaves behind." The fire popped between us. For a moment I saw Martha, my late wife, sitting in that same chair, her smile soft as dawn. Then it was gone, and Evelyn sat there instead, wet and trembling but alive. "I can't stay," she said suddenly. "The law will find me soon." "The law?" "They plan to take the land." "Tom owed money. You owe nothing now?" "Only my name," she said. "And even that feels borrowed." Silence filled the room. I felt it press on my chest. Then she spoke again, voice trembling but clear. "I came to ask something." I nodded slowly. "Go on." Her fingers clenched around her shawl. "Marry me." I almost laughed. "What?" "Not for love," she said quickly. "For shelter." I set my cup down. "You're serious?" "Yes." "Lady, I don't even know you." "You don't need to," she said. "You just need to say yes." I stood, pacing. The floor creaked under my boots. "Marriage isn't a favor. It can be mercy." I turned to her. "You think I can fix your life?" "No," she said. "I just want to survive." Her eyes didn't flinch. She looked straight at me, soaked in sorrow but stubborn. The kind of stubborn that only comes from losing everything. "I can work," she said. "I can clean, cook, mend fences. I don't need a worker." "Then let me be your wife in name," she whispered. "Just for safety." "Safety from what?" "Men like him," she said. "Men who think a woman alone is theirs to take." I said nothing. Her words hit harder than gunfire. Outside, the rain turned to mist. The world went quiet except for her breathing and the crackle of wood. "You don't even like me," I said finally. She smiled weakly. "I don't have to. I just have to live." I rubbed my temples. "You'd marry a man you don't love." "I already did," she said. "And it killed me once." "Maybe this time it'll save me." I stared at her. She didn't look away. Her courage made me ache. "You'd carry my name," I said. "Yes." "You'd live here." "Yes." "You'd obey my rules." She nodded. "If they're fair." "And what would people say?" "They already say worse." I sat down heavy. "You tie yourself to a man like me? You're not like him. You don't know that." The church bell rang slow that morning. The sound rolled through the empty town like wind through dust. I stood at the small altar, hat in my hands, staring at the floor. The preacher coughed. "You ready, son?" "I guess I am," I said. My voice came out dry. Evelyn stood beside me, hands folded tight. Her dress was plain, borrowed from the storekeeper's wife. No lace, no color, no smile. Just clean cloth and tired eyes. The preacher looked between us. "You both understand what this means?" Evelyn nodded. "Yes, sir," I nodded too. "It's only paper," I said quietly. He read his words slow, holy and heavy. I barely heard him. I just watched her hands, small, shaking, pale as winter. When he said, "You may speak your vows," I swallowed hard. Evelyn whispered, "I take this man." "For shelter." Her voice cracked, but she didn't stop. I said, "I take this woman. For peace." The preacher blinked at me. "That's a new one." "I mean it," I said. He signed the paper, handed me the pen. I wrote my name with a trembling hand. She wrote hers below, letters neat but fading at the end. When we stepped outside, the sun hit us like fire. Townsfolk stood around the well, pretending not to look. But I heard the whispers anyway. The widowed rancher, the outlaw's wife. Poor fool. I walked her to the wagon. "You sure you want this?" I asked. She nodded. "You gave me a name." "I'll try to make it mean something." I climbed up beside her. "Names don't mean much out here. Then what does?" "Work, silence, faith maybe." She stared at the road. "I can do that." The ride home was quiet. Only the sound of the wheels and the wind. She held her small bag on her lap like a shield. After a while she said, "Do you miss her?" I gripped the reins. "Every day, I can tell," she said. "You still wear your ring?" I looked down. The silver band had cut a faint mark in my skin. "Habit," she nodded. "I won't touch what's hers. Wasn't planning to ask you to." We rode the rest of the way in silence. The land stretched wide and gold. The house stood alone on the hill, like it was waiting for something. When we stopped, she stared at it a long time. "Big place," she said. "Too big," I answered. Inside, the air was still. Dust on every table. 2 plates still stacked in the cupboard, 2 glasses beside them, untouched for years. She walked slow through the kitchen. "You live alone here?" "I do." "Why keep 2 of everything?" I shrugged. "Old habit again." She touched the table edge. "You ever get lonely?" "Sometimes." Then I remember why I liked quiet. She smiled, soft and sad. "I used to like quiet too. Now it scares me." She went to unpack her small bag. 1 dress, 1 comb, 1 Bible, 1 photograph. I saw her place the picture on the nightstand. Later, I passed by her room. She was sitting on the bed, staring at that photo. Her fingers touched the glass. I spoke low. "Who's that?" "My mother," she said. "She died before I married Tom. Good woman. The best. She told me, if you ever can't find peace, go where the wind still sings. Did you find that wind here?" She looked up at me. "Not yet. But maybe I will." I leaned on the door frame. "You can take the room by the window. Gets the morning light." She nodded. "Thank you." When evening came, I made supper. Beans, bread, black coffee. I set 2 plates for the first time in years. She walked in slow, wiping her hands on her skirt. "You didn't have to." "I wanted to," I said. We ate mostly in silence. The old clock ticked like a heartbeat. The fire cracked, throwing light across her face. She said, "You built this place yourself?" "Most of it. Must have taken years." 6, I said. "Had help once." "A woman." She glanced down. "Your wife?" "Yeah. She must have loved you." "I don't know," I said. "Maybe she just believed in me." "Same thing sometimes," Evelyn said. I looked at her. "You talk like someone twice your age." Pain does that. I nodded. I know. After supper, she gathered the dishes. You don't need to. I should do something, she said. I don't want to just take. You're not taking. She looked at me. You sure? I'm sure, I said. She smiled again, the first real smile I'd seen. It made her face soft, younger somehow. When she went to her room, I stayed by the fire. The house felt different already. Not empty, not full, but alive in small ways. I thought about her words. Marry me for shelter. It still echoed in my mind like a prayer or a wound. Later that night, I heard her crying. Quiet, like someone trying not to wake a ghost. I went to the door, but I didn't knock. I just stood there listening. When the sound stopped, I whispered, "You're safe here." I don't know if she heard me. Next morning, the sun poured through the window. She was already outside, feeding the chickens. Up early, I said. Couldn't sleep, she answered. Dreams keep walking around, good or bad. Both, she said. Your wife's name was Martha, right? I froze. How'd you know? I saw her name on a Bible, near the fire. Ah, I said. Yes, Martha. She had peace, Evelyn whispered. I want that too. You'll get it, I said. Peace takes work. Then I'll work for it. We fixed the fence together that afternoon. She held the wire while I hammered the posts. Her hands were blistered, but she didn't stop. You don't have to push so hard, I said. I need to, she said. If I stop, I'll think. About what? She looked away. Things I can't change. Then change what you can, I said. She smiled faintly. You sound like a preacher. Just a tired man with calluses, I said. She laughed. I'll take that sermon. That night I cooked again. She helped without asking. We ate on the porch, watching the sunset spill gold across the field. Pretty, isn't it? She said. It used to be, I said. Now it feels new again. She turned to me. Do you still miss her? Always, I said. Does it hurt less now? Not yet. Then maybe it will. I looked at her. You think pain just fades? No, she said. But peace grows around it. I thought about that long after she went inside. When the stars came out, I sat under the old oak. The wind moved through the grass, soft and sure. For years, the night had only spoken in silence. That night it whispered something different. Not words, just peace trying to find its way back. Before I went to bed, I saw her room light still on. I knocked gently. Evelyn? Yes? You all right? I will be, she said. Need anything? Just time, she whispered. Time's all we got, I said. She nodded, eyes shiny in the lamplight. Good night, Daniel. Good night, Mrs. Cole. Her smile was soft. You don't have to call me that. It's what you are, I said. She laughed lightly. Then I'll try to earn it. When I lay down, I stared at the ceiling until sleep came. The house creaked in the wind like it remembered how to breathe. In the morning, I woke to the smell of bread and coffee. She was humming, quiet, steady. I smiled to myself. It sounded like home. The day was quiet, too quiet. Wind moved through the open window. The smell of rain and dust filled the air. I was fixing the drawer in my desk, the one that stuck halfway every time I tried to close it. I pulled harder and something slid out from the back. It was an old envelope, yellowed, torn on the side. The name written in rough ink stopped my breath. Evelyn Grant. My hands froze. I stared at it. The world felt still, heavy. I shouldn't have opened it, but I did. The paper cracked as I unfolded it. The words were short, cruel, final. Evelyn, if the law comes, sell yourself to Pike. He'll take care of the debt. You'll live and I'll die owing nothing. Tom, I sat there a long time. The fire in my chest rose slow, steady, quiet. Not anger yet, just heat. The kind that hurts behind your ribs. I heard footsteps behind me. Evelyn's voice was soft. You're up early. I turned. She stood by the door, hair tied back, wearing one of my shirts rolled at the sleeves. Her eyes met mine, then dropped to the letter in my hand. What's that? She asked. I didn't answer. I just looked at her. Her face changed, the kind of look that knows trouble before words come. She took a slow breath. Where did you find it? In the drawer, I said. Under my old ledgers. She nodded once. Her hands twisted the edge of her apron. You read it. I did. Silence stretched between us. Wind pushed the curtains. The fire popped. Finally, I said, you were going to tell me? Her eyes filled quick. I wanted to, she said. But every time I tried, you looked at me like I was someone new. I didn't want to change that. I stood. You hid it. I was afraid, she said. You don't know what fear does to a person. I know, I said. I've lived with it. Her lips trembled. He wrote that letter before he died. I didn't know what to do. I ran. Ran to me? I asked. She nodded. I didn't mean to lie. I just didn't want you to hate me for what he did. I laughed, but it sounded wrong, dry. You think I could hate you for his sins? He was my husband, Daniel. Her voice cracked. That ties me to his dirt. No, I said. That ties you to his pain, not his dirt. She stepped closer. You don't understand. That man destroyed you once. He stole your cattle, your name, your peace. And now I stand here wearing his name. I looked at the paper again. You carry his name. But you're not him. She reached for the letter, but I pulled it back. Don't, she whispered. Please, I need to see it burn, I said. Why? Because it's poison. Her voice fell to a whisper. So am I. I met her eyes. No, Evelyn. You're the cure. She covered her face and cried. Not the loud kind. The small kind that breaks your chest because it sounds like someone trying not to exist. I took the letter to the fire. The flames were low, blue at the edges. I held it there. The paper curled slow, turning black, the words twisting into smoke. She watched, silent, shaking. When it was gone, I said, There, the past is dead. She looked at me like I'd said something holy. You mean that? I mean it. She came closer. Why? Because I've lived too long with ghosts, I said. It's time to let them go. She touched my arm. He hurt you more than anyone. I see it in your eyes. Every time you look at this land, you see him. I used to, I said. Not anymore. Her hand stayed on my sleeve, warm, light. You should hate me, she whispered. I tried, I said. Didn't work. We both smiled. Small, tired smiles that didn't reach our eyes. She sat down near the fire. I poured 2 cups of coffee. The room smelled of ash and rain, she said quietly. You ever think about leaving this place? Every day, I said. Then why stay? Because I built it with everything I had. Leaving feels like dying twice, she nodded. That's how I felt when Tom died. Even after what he did, you loved him. I did, she said. Not the man he became, but the boy he used to be. The one who laughed before drink and greed took him. I stared into the fire. I knew that boy once too. You did? He used to ride with me. Helped mend fences, drive cattle. We were friends before he learned lying paid better than work. Her voice softened. Then you lost him too. Yeah, I said. Guess we both did. We sat quiet again. The firelight moved across her face. After a while, she said, I dreamed of a life without fear. I thought I'd find it here. Maybe I don't deserve it. Everyone deserves peace, I said. Even me. Especially you, she smiled faintly. You always say the right thing. I don't mean to. It just happens when you look at me like that. She laughed through her tears. Like what? Like I matter again. She wiped her cheeks. You do. The room felt warmer then, quieter. I didn't know what that meant or what came next. But I didn't want it to end. After a moment, I stood and walked to the window. The rain had started again, soft and slow. The smell of wet earth came through the cracks. Behind me, she said, You burned the letter, but not the truth. I don't need the truth, I said. I need peace. Can you ever have that with me here? I turned. I already do, her voice broke. You don't even know who I am anymore. I know enough. She came to me then, slow, careful. Then tell me who you think I am. I took her hands. You're the woman who walked through the rain and brought my life back. Her eyes shined. And if I walk away, then the rain wins, I said. And I'm tired of losing to it. She rested her head against my chest. I could feel her heartbeat, quick, uneven. You should have let the letter live, she whispered. Some things need to be remembered. Not that, I said. That man's memory is worth ash. She pulled back, eyes searching mine. What about mine? Yours, I said, is worth gold. Her lips trembled. You don't mean that. I do, I said. Every word. She looked at me a long time. Then she whispered, You scare me sometimes. How? You care too much for someone who broke your peace. I smiled faintly. Maybe peace needs a little breaking. The fire hissed. Outside, thunder rolled far off. She stepped back, sat down again, and stared at the flames. Do you ever miss her? She asked softly. My wife? Yes, every day, I said. But it's different now. The hurt used to be sharp. Now it's just quiet. She nodded. That's what peace sounds like. Maybe, I said. I watched the last of the letter turn to dust in the fireplace. The ashes glowed red, then gray, then gone. I'll make us dinner, she said suddenly, standing. You don't have to. I want to. I nodded. All right. As she moved toward the kitchen, I said, Evelyn? She stopped. Yes. Don't hide from me again. Her eyes softened. Then don't give me a reason to. She went to the stove. I stood there staring at the fire that had eaten our past. For a long while, I just listened, to the sound of the rain, to the clatter of pans, to the quiet beating of something new inside my chest. I didn't know if it was hope or danger. Maybe both. All I knew was this. I had burned one ghost, and maybe saved another. When she called my name for supper, I finally turned from the fire, and for the first time since I found that letter, I smiled. The morning came slow and heavy. The sun burned the fog off the hills, and the air smelled like dust and rain. I was mending the gate when I heard hooves. Clara stepped out of the house. Who's that? She asked. Sheriff, I said. Stay inside. A rider came up the path, coat black, hat low. Sheriff Pike. His badge caught the light, bright like a warning. He stopped at the fence and smiled. Morning, Cole, I wiped my hands. What brings you here, Sheriff? He leaned on the saddle horn. A matter of debt, he said. Tom Grant left quite a hole in the books. My jaw tightened. Tom's dead. Dead men still owe, he said. And their wives pay. I looked toward the porch. Clara stood in the doorway, pale, hands gripping her shawl. She owes nothing, I said. He dismounted slowly, boots sinking into the mud. I have papers, he said. Signed by Tom Grant, loan for 5 horses and land taxes. If the widow can't pay coin, I'll take work instead. I stepped closer. You'll take nothing from her. He tilted his head. You protecting her now? That's kind of you, Cole. But kindness won't buy me back what's mine. I felt my fingers curl into fists. You got no right to touch her, he smirked. I got the law. The law's dirt in your pocket, I said. His smile faded. Careful now. I could arrest you for them words. Then do it, I said. But not here. He looked past me at Clara. You married her, didn't you? Quick one, too. Guess she found herself another roof. Clara flinched. Please, Sheriff, Quiet, I said gently. Go inside. She didn't move. Her eyes stayed on me, wide and afraid. Pike turned back to me. You think you can hide her debts behind your name? I think you should leave, I said. He stepped closer, the smell of whiskey sharp in the air. Maybe I take her to town, he said. Let the judge decide her worth. I didn't think. My hand moved before my mind did. My fist met his jaw with a sound like cracking wood. He stumbled back, hit the fence, and spat blood. He looked shocked at first, then smiled slow. That's a mistake, Cole. I've made worse, I said. His deputy rode up fast from down the trail, young face tight with fear. Sheriff! Pike waved him off. It's fine, son. Just teaching manners. He wiped his mouth and climbed on his horse again. You'll regret that punch. Maybe not today, but soon. He turned his horse toward the road. The deputy looked at me, eyes uneasy. You shouldn't cross him, he said quietly. He don't forget, I stared back. Neither do I. They rode off, dust rising behind them like smoke. I stood there breathing hard, hands shaking. Clara ran to me. Why did you do that? She cried. He was going to take you, I said. He wouldn't have. He would, I cut in. Men like him always do. She touched my hand, saw the blood on my knuckles. You'll bring trouble. Let it come, I said. You can't fight the law, she whispered. I ain't fighting the law, I said. I'm fighting the man hiding behind it. She stepped back, tears on her cheeks. You shouldn't have done that. I looked at her. I'd do worse for what's mine. She shook her head, voice breaking. Don't say that. I mean it, I said. You live here now. This is your home. No one touches what's under my roof. She stared at me, fear and something else in her eyes. You're angry, she said. I'm alive, I answered. That's close enough. She turned and went inside. I stayed by the fence, watching the road till the dust settled. Henry came later that day. Heard there was trouble, he said. There was, I said. He leaned on his cane. Pike? Yeah, Henry sighed. That man's poison. Best steer clear. Too late, I said. He nodded slowly. Then be ready. He's got friends. I've got reason, I said. He looked at my hand. That reason draw blood? Just a little, I said. He chuckled low. You always were stubborn. Guess I still am. When he left, the sun was falling low. I walked to the barn. The horses were restless, snorting, uneasy. They felt it too, the air turning heavy. I checked the gate chains twice. Then I sat on a hay bale and let the quiet settle. My hand throbbed where it hit Pike's jaw. It felt good. It felt dangerous. The door creaked. Clara stepped in, candle in hand. You didn't eat, she said. Not hungry, I said. She came closer. He'll come back. I know. You're not afraid? I was, I said softly. A long time ago. She set the candle on the rail. You think he'll hurt us? He'll try, I said. Men like him always try. She wrapped her arms around herself. You should have walked away. I've been walking away my whole life, I said. Stop tonight. Her eyes glistened. You think I'm worth that trouble? I looked at her. You are. She turned her face, voice trembling. Tom never said that. I'm not Tom. She nodded. No, she whispered. You're not. The wind blew through the broken boards, carrying the smell of rain. The horses shifted, restless. I stood and walked to her. I'll keep you safe, I said. You can't promise that, she said. I just did. She smiled weakly. You're a fool. Maybe, I said. But I'm your fool now. She let out a small laugh, soft but real. It was the first I'd heard since she came. The candle flickered. Shadows moved across her face. For a moment I saw something there. Fear, yes, but also trust. Go rest, I said. Long day, she hesitated. You'll stay out here? Yeah. You don't have to. I know. She turned to leave, then stopped. Thank you, she said. For what? For choosing me, she whispered. Then she left, the door closing slow behind her. I stood there a while, staring at the flicker of the candle. Outside, thunder rolled far off. The storm was coming. I could feel it in my bones. I sat again, head against the wall, eyes on the flame. My knuckles burned, but it wasn't the pain that kept me awake. It was the thought of what I'd said. I'd do worse for what's mine. I didn't mean to sound like that. But maybe I did. Maybe part of me still wanted to fight the ghosts I'd buried years ago. The barn creaked. Rain began to fall, soft at first, then heavy. The roof drummed above me. Water ran down the boards, glistening like tears. I thought of Pike's face, his smile, his threat. He'd come back, I knew it. Men like him never forgot being hit, especially not by someone they looked down on. But I wasn't the same man he remembered. I wasn't broken anymore. I had something to stand for now. Someone. The door opened again. Clara stepped in, barefoot, holding a blanket. You'll catch cold, she said. I'm fine, I said. She walked up and placed the blanket over my shoulders. You saved me once, she said. Don't lose yourself doing it again. I looked at her, candlelight on her face. Too late, I said. I already did. She knelt beside me, close enough to feel her warmth. You scare me, she said. I scare myself, I said. She smiled sadly. Then we're both afraid. We sat there side by side, listening to the rain. No more words, just the sound of water and the breathing of the horses. When she stood to go, she touched my shoulder. You shouldn't have done that, she said again. I nodded. Maybe not. Her hand lingered. But thank you. For what? For not walking away, she said. She left then, quiet as the rain. I watched her disappear into the dark, the blanket still heavy on my shoulders. Outside, lightning split the sky, bright and wild. The thunder came after, deep and sure, rolling through the valley. I closed my eyes and whispered to the dark. Let him come, because he would. And when he did, I'd be ready. I wasn't protecting a stranger anymore. I was protecting what was mine. The night was quiet before it screamed. I woke to the smell of smoke. It crawled under my door, thick and bitter. Evelyn! I shouted. Her voice came back, rough and scared. Daniel! I threw on my coat and ran outside. The sky was red. The barn was burning. Flames climbed like wild hands reaching for heaven. Stay back, I yelled, but she ran past me toward the animals. The heat pushed her down. I caught her arm. You'll die in there. They're alive, she cried. I hear them. I pulled her close. We can't save them all. Her tears shone against the firelight. Then save one. I grabbed a wet sack from the trough, wrapped it around my face, and went in. The air burned my lungs. The horses screamed. The hay crackled like gunfire. I saw Milo kicking at the gate. Easy, boy, I said, coughing. He fought the rope. My hand shook as I cut it loose. He bolted through the smoke, out into the yard. A beam fell near my shoulder. The roof groaned. I stumbled half-blind back toward the door. Evelyn's voice cut through the noise.
Daniel, please.
I reached her just as the roof fell in behind me. The blast of heat threw us both to the dirt. The barn roared and sank. Ash rained down like black snow. She coughed hard. You could have burned alive. So could you, I said. I pressed her head to my chest. You're safe. She looked at the flames. The cows, the tools, everything's gone. Things can be rebuilt, I said. She shook her head. Not Faith. It can, I said quietly. If we hold on, her voice broke. You'll lose everything because of me. I held her face in my hands. Then we'll lose it together. She stared at me through the firelight. Her lips trembled. Why? Why would you stand by me? Because I gave you my word, I said. And my heart followed. She looked down. You shouldn't say that. It's true, I said. The wind shifted. Sparks flew around us. She wiped soot from my cheek. Your face is black. So is yours, I said. We laughed, short and broken, between coughs. She pressed her forehead to mine. You could have let me go. I couldn't, I said. Not again. Her eyes searched mine. Again? I swallowed. I lost someone once. I won't lose you. Her breath hitched. Daniel? Before I could think, she kissed me. Soft, trembling, real. Not passion, not need. Just two broken souls breathing the same smoke. The fire popped behind us. When we pulled apart, she whispered, Now you've burned for me. I smiled. Then I've burned for something worth it. She leaned into me, shaking. You're mad. Maybe, I said. But I'm still here. We sat in the dirt watching our work turn to ash. The moon hid behind smoke. The land looked dead and alive all at once. She spoke again, voice small. Who did this? Pike's men, I said. I know their way. Cowards strike in dark. Her fists clenched. He'll come for more. Let him, I said. He can't take what's already ashes. She looked at me. What will we do? Rebuild, I said. Stronger. With what? She asked. We have nothing. We have promise, I said. That's enough for a start, she gave a weak smile. You believe that? I need to, I said. Or I'll break. The night wind cooled the ground. Ash stuck to our faces like paint. Milo stood near the fence, shaking but alive. Evelyn rose slowly. We should check the house, I nodded. Go ahead, I'll follow. She turned toward the porch, limping slightly. Her hair caught the light, glowing red against the dark. When I stood, my legs gave way for a moment. The world spun, smoke and heat and loss. Then I heard her voice again. Daniel, the lamp's still lit! I hurried to the doorway. She was at the table, trembling hands on a Bible. The flame flickered beside it, steady and small. She said, It didn't burn. Maybe God left us a light, I said. She looked up, eyes wet. Do you believe that? I do tonight. We sat by that lamp until morning. Neither spoke for a while. The fire outside turned to smoke and silence. The sky shifted from black to gray to gold. Finally, she whispered, I'm sorry. For what? For bringing this here. You brought life, I said. The fire just reminded us it can still hurt. She traced her finger along the table. You'll have to sell the herd. Maybe the land. I'll keep the land, I said. You can't, she said. It'll drown you. I was drowning before you came, I said. She met my eyes. Then I pulled you out. You did. We sat quiet again. Roosters crowed from somewhere down the valley. The first light touched her face. She looked tired but beautiful, the kind of beauty that comes from surviving. I used to dream of fire, she said. Tom drank. I hid. I always thought the flames would take him first. They took the past, I said. Let them keep it, she gave a small nod. And us? We start clean, I said. From ashes, like a promise, she murmured. Exactly. She stood and opened the door. Smoke drifted in thin gray lines. The air smelled of loss and rain. She turned back to me. Come outside. We stepped onto the porch. The barn was gone. Only the black frame stood against the morning light. Crows circled overhead. Milo whinnied softly. She whispered, All that work. It'll come back, I said. Maybe, she said. But not the same. No, I said. Better. She looked at me sideways. You really believe that? I have to, I said. You gave me a reason to, she smiled faintly. Then I'll hold you to it. We walked to the fence together. The grass near the trough was wet with dew, shining like tiny mirrors. I touched the wood rail. Still solid, I said. She leaned on it beside me. It's strange, she said. Fire destroys, but it also clears. For what? I asked. For new ground. Her words stayed in my chest. I nodded. Then we'll build there. Her hand found mine. I didn't move. She squeezed lightly. Thank you. For what? For not letting me burn, she said. I smiled. You'd have done the same. She shook her head. No, I'd have frozen. Then we balance, I said. You cool me down. I keep you warm, she laughed quietly. That sounds fair. The sun broke through the smoke. Light spilled across the valley. Gold on gray. Life over ruin. Evelyn turned to me. You'll rest today? Maybe after chores, I said. Daniel, yes? No chores. Just breathe, I nodded. I'll try. We stood there until the fire was just memory. The land smelled sweet again, like rain on dust. She whispered, This place still feels like home. It is, I said. For both of us? She asked. For both, I said. And for whatever comes next. She leaned her head on my shoulder. We watched the smoke fade into the sky. I whispered, I won't let them take this from you. They already took enough, she said. We'll keep what's left. What's left? I asked. Us, she said simply. The word filled the air like a prayer. I closed my eyes. The wind shifted warm. Behind my lids, the fire burned again, but softer this time. A memory, not a wound. I thought of Martha, of Tom, of every ghost that ever watched me lose. They were quiet now. The silence was kind. Evelyn spoke softly. Promise me something. Anything. If the fire comes again, you run first. No, I said. I'll stand with you, she smiled sadly. Then that's our promise. The wind carried the last of the ashes away. They shimmered in the sunlight, turning the air gold. For a moment, it looked like the land was blessing us. I took her hand again. It felt steady, alive. We turned toward the house. Behind us, the smoke thinned and vanished into blue sky. I whispered, From ashes we rise, and she answered, Together. The days grew long again. The smoke was gone, but I could still smell the fire. The barn stood half-built, the fences rough, the air full of dust and work. Evelyn carried wood beside me. Her dress was torn, her hands raw, but her eyes, steady as the sun. You should rest, I said. She smiled faintly. So should you. I'm used to hard days, I said. I am too, she answered. Just not this kind. We worked in silence for a while. The wind pushed dry leaves across the yard. I watched her glance at the horizon every few minutes, like she expected trouble to come riding in again. Still thinking about him? I asked. She didn't look at me. Which one? The sheriff, I said. She sighed. He won't stop. No, I said. Men like that never do. She dropped the last piece of wood and brushed her hands. Then we'll be ready when he comes. I almost smiled. We? Yes, she said firmly. We. That word hit deep. I hadn't shared a we with anyone since Martha died. That evening, I fixed the gate hinges while she cooked. The smell of stew filled the air. Simple things. Meat, onions, a bit of hope. When I came inside, she was at my desk, her brow tight, fingers tracing through old papers. What are you doing? I asked. She looked up, startled. I found something in the drawer. I stepped closer. Those are my ledgers. No, she said quietly, lifting a folded page. These aren't yours. I took the page. The ink was faded, the writing rough. Tom Grant's name scrawled across the top. My chest tightened. Where did you get this? I asked. It was under the false bottom, she said. I wasn't snooping. I was cleaning. The page listed numbers, names, ranchers I knew, mine too. Next to each, stolen cattle counts, sale prices, towns. He kept record of it all, she whispered. Every theft. My voice dropped low. That bastard wrote down every crime, she nodded. He thought no one would ever see it. I stared at the page, anger rising like smoke in my throat. She reached out carefully. This proves you were right all along. He stole from you, from everyone. Proof doesn't feed a man, I said. And justice here is bought with whiskey and bullets. Her eyes met mine. Then we'll buy it another way. Evelyn, I said, you don't understand. The sheriff was his friend. His pocket's full of Tom's money. Then let's empty it, she said. I let out a sharp laugh. You think truth can win here? I think lies already have, she replied. We can't keep living under them. After dinner, we sat on the porch. The sky was red, bleeding into gold. The land looked peaceful, but peace here was always a lie. She turned the papers over in her lap. If others know what Tom did, maybe they'll stand with us. Or they'll hang us beside him, I said. I'm not afraid, she said. I am, I said quietly. She looked surprised. You? I nodded. Not of dying, of losing what's left. She set the papers down. You think this place is all you have? It's all I built. She leaned forward. No, Daniel. You built this for ghosts. It's time to live for something real. Her words cut deep. I turned away, staring into the fading light. And what's real, Evelyn? This, she said, touching my hand. Us, breathing, working, trying. Her hand was warm, her grip sure. For a moment the world was quiet, then I pulled away gently. You should sleep, she nodded. Tomorrow I'll take these to the sheriff. I looked at her sharply. No, you won't. Yes, I will. You'll stay here, I said. Let me deal with him. You'll get yourself killed. I've been half dead for years, I said, her eyes filled. Don't say that. It's true, I said. Until you walked in that gate, I wasn't living. I was waiting to be buried. She took a shaky breath. Then don't go back to death now. I didn't answer. The night pressed in around us, full of unseen things. I barely slept. Her words kept circling my mind. I woke before dawn, went outside, and started mending the east fence. Work steadied me. Hammer, nail, breath. The sound kept the ghosts quiet. By mid-morning, I saw her walking toward me. Hair loose, papers clutched tight. I told you to stay inside, I said. And I told you I'm done hiding, she said. We're taking this to town. We? I asked again. She gave me a look that shut me up. I wiped my hands. Fine, but if anything happens, she cut in. Then it happens to both of us. We rode into town in silence. The streets were dusty, empty. The sheriff's office sat at the far end, flag limp in the still air. Last chance to turn back, I said. She didn't move. Not turning back anymore. We tied the horses. I stepped inside first. Pike sat behind his desk, polishing his star. Well, if it isn't the happy couple, he said. Come to confess or complain? Evelyn walked forward. We came to bring you truth, he laughed. Truth don't pay taxes, ma'am. She set the papers down hard. Read them. He skimmed one, his grin fading. Where'd you get this? From my husband's hand, she said. He looked up slowly. Tom Grant's widow, bringing me proof he was a thief. That's rich. You protected him, I said. You took your cut. His jaw tightened. Careful, Cole. Evelyn stood tall. We want justice. He leaned back. You'll get a grave if you keep talking. I stepped forward, fists tight. Try me, he smiled. Not here, not yet. He pushed the papers back. You think anyone will believe a widow and a washed-up rancher? Evelyn's voice shook, but her eyes didn't. They will when they see the proof. Pike stood up. You best leave before I change my mind. I grabbed the papers. We're done here. We walked out, the door slamming behind us. On the ride home, the air felt heavy. The wind carried the smell of ash again. When we reached the ranch, I saw smoke rising from behind the ridge. No, I breathed. Not again. We galloped fast. The small shed near the creek burned bright. I jumped off, grabbed a blanket, tried to smother it. Evelyn helped, coughing through the smoke. After minutes that felt like hours, the flames died. My hands were burned, her dress singed. She knelt, gasping. They came while we were gone. I looked at the ashes. Inside the wreck, the papers lay black and curling. She covered her face. It's gone. Everything. I sat beside her. Not everything. Her voice broke. Why does it always end like this? Because we keep standing, I said. And standing means burning sometimes. She looked at me, tears streaking her ash-covered cheeks. Then I'll burn beside you. I shook my head. No, you'll live beside me. She smiled weakly. You sound sure. I am, I said. Because if the past keeps coming back, we'll face it together. The last of the fire hissed out. Smoke drifted into the sunset, dark against gold. We sat there, covered in soot, hands touching, hearts heavy, but alive. She whispered, Maybe ashes are where new things grow. I nodded slowly. Maybe they are. And for the first time, I almost believed it. The day started quiet. The air smelled of dust and rain. I was fixing the corral when Henry rode up fast. His face looked wrong. Sam, he said. They took her. I dropped the hammer. Who? Evelyn, he said. Pike's men came. Said she forged the marriage papers. My heart stopped.
Where?
Town jail, he said. He's saying she's not who she claims. I felt something burn inside me. Saddle Milo, I said. Now, Henry grabbed my arm. You can't go in hot, Sam. Pike's waiting for that. I don't care, I said. He touched what's mine. I rode hard. The wind cut my face. The sky turned black above the hills. Every hoofbeat felt like thunder inside my chest. When I reached town, people stared. Some whispered my name, others turned away. The jail stood quiet. Pike sat on the porch with his boots up, chewing tobacco. His badge caught the light. Well, look who crawled in, he said. The husband. I stepped down. Where is she? He grinned. You mean the widow? Or the thief? Open the door, I said. He laughed. You got papers to prove you're man enough? I stared at him. You took her without cause. She lied, he said. Fake name. Fake marriage. That's fraud, Cole. She told me everything, I said. You just want my land. Pike spit into the dirt. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. Law says she's in debt. Husband's crimes still follow the wife. She's not her husband, I said. You know that. He leaned forward. I know she's pretty. That's enough to make men stupid. I took a step closer. Watch your mouth, he smirked. Or what, you'll shoot me? Then who saves her? I clenched my fists. Let me see her. He nodded to his deputy. Open it. Let the good husband have a look. The cell door creaked. Evelyn sat on the bench, hands tied. Her face was pale, eyes red from crying. Daniel, she whispered. I knelt. What did they do? Nothing yet, she said. He says I'm not real. Says our marriage is fake. It's real to me, I said. She shook her head. He won't stop. He wants everything. I'll fix it, I said. I promise. Pike stepped closer. You could. You got something worth trading, I stood. Say it, he smiled. Your ranch. The room went silent. Even the deputy looked uneasy. You take my land, I said, and she walks. She walks free, he said. Paper clean, name clean. You get to ride off with her. No blood. You think I'd trust your word? He shrugged. You trusted hers. I looked at Evelyn. She shook her head. Don't, Daniel. Don't you dare, I said softly. You told me once you'd marry for shelter. Maybe now it's my turn to pay for peace. Tears filled her eyes. I never wanted your land. Just your kindness. You already have that, I said. Now I'll give you freedom. She cried harder. You'll lose everything. I lost it once, I said. This time I'll give it away. Pike grinned. Well, look at that. Love makes fools out of men. I turned to him. Draw up the deed. He blinked. You serious? I said draw it, I snapped. I'll sign it here. You'll release her before sundown. He nodded slowly. Deal. The deputy hesitated. Sheriff, this ain't right. Pike glared at him. You want her cell instead? The man stepped back. No, sir, I waited. The papers came quick. My name scratched across the line. My hand shook, not from fear, but from finality. Every stroke cut deeper than any wound I'd ever known. Pike folded the papers. There, done. You're a good man, Cole. Dumb, but good. Let her out, I said. He motioned. The key turned. The lock clicked. Evelyn stepped free. She ran to me, her hands trembling. Daniel, she said. Why? Because you deserve a life, I said. Even if I'm not in it. She held my arm tight. You're the only reason I still have one. Pike laughed. How sweet. You two lovebirds can kiss now. Just do it off my porch, I stared at him. You'll regret this. He tilted his hat. Maybe, but not today. We walked outside. The town was watching. I could feel their eyes. Some faces were pity, others just cold. I helped her mount the horse. I can't leave you, she said. You have to, I said. Ride to Henry's. He'll keep you safe. She looked down. What about you? I'll be along, I said. After I finish here, her voice cracked. Don't do anything foolish. I smiled faintly. Too late for that. She rode off. I watched her disappear past the saloon, dust trailing behind her. My chest felt empty. Pike came out again. That was noble, he said. You really gave her everything. I faced him. Not yet. He frowned. What's that mean? I walked up close. It means the land's yours. But peace? You'll never have it, he laughed. You think I lose sleep over sinners? Maybe not, I said. But your son might. He froze. What did you say? Jacob knows, I said quietly. He told me what you did to those widows. How you took their money, their homes. You think secrets don't spread? He stepped back. You keep my boy out of this. I smiled, tired but steady. Can't. He's already part of it. He's better than you. He'll do what's right. Pike's face turned red. Get out of my town. I will, I said. But I'll leave something behind. He barked. What's that? Your conscience, I said. For once he didn't answer. His eyes flicked to the dirt. I turned and walked to the edge of the street. The rain started again, soft at first. The land smelled of dust and mercy. Jacob stepped out from the saloon. You shouldn't have done that, Mr. Cole. It was the only way, I said. He looked toward the jail. My father's finished. He just doesn't know it yet. Let him find out slow, I said. Some debts don't need guns. Jacob nodded. You're leaving? Yes, I said. Going home, even if it's empty. He smiled sadly. Home's where peace lives, sir. Maybe, I said. Or where it's buried. I rode back under gray clouds. The rain followed me all the way to the ranch. When I reached the gate, the wind stopped. The house looked smaller somehow, but quieter, freer. Evelyn stood there waiting. Her hair was wet, her eyes bright. You came back, she said. I said I would. You gave him everything, she whispered. Not everything, I said. I kept my word. She stepped closer. And what do we do now? We start again, I said. Not as owner and wife. As equals, she smiled through tears. Then let's build something honest, I nodded. Honest sounds good. The rain eased. The light turned soft. The earth, even broken, looked alive again. I took her hand. It was small but strong. We lost the land, I said, but we found the truth. She squeezed my hand. Truth builds better walls. We walked toward the porch. The mud clung to our boots. The smell of rain filled the air. For once I didn't feel poor. I looked back once toward town. He took the ranch, I said softly, but not my soul. She looked up at me. Then he took nothing, I smiled. Nothing at all. The clouds broke open above us, spilling light across the fields. The rain turned gold in the sun. I felt my chest ease for the first time in years. The sheriff had his land, but I had peace. The pen felt heavy in my hand. I stared at the deed on the sheriff's desk. The paper looked small, but it carried my whole life. My name, my land, my home, the last piece of who I used to be. Pike smiled across the desk. Sign it, Cole, then she walks. I looked at him. You'd sell a woman's life for land? He leaned back, boots on the table. I'd sell anything, rancher, even your pride. I felt the fire rise inside me. But behind him, through the iron bars, I saw Evelyn. Her wrists were bound, her hair messy, her face pale but calm. She looked at me and shook her head. Don't, she mouthed. I took a deep breath. You said she walks free. She does, Pike said. After you're nothing. I pressed the pen to the page. My hand trembled. The ink bled into the paper, dark as my thoughts. My name looked strange, like it didn't belong to me anymore. There, I said quietly. It's done. Pike stood and smirked. Congratulations. You're homeless. Let her go, I said. He opened the cell door. Take your prize, cowboy. She's yours, for now. Evelyn stepped out slowly. Her eyes were wet but steady. Pike touched his hat. Pleasure doing business. I wanted to hit him, but I didn't. I took her hand and led her out. The rain had started again, soft at first. The street was empty. People watched from porches, whispering. Evelyn spoke first. You didn't have to do that. Yes, I did. You gave him everything. No, I said. I gave him what wasn't mine anymore. She looked at me, confused. Your land was yours. It was never the land, I said. It was what it took from me. We walked in silence. The rain soaked us both. Her dress clung to her skin, and my hat dripped water onto my boots. You're leaving, she said quietly. I have to, I said. There's nothing left here. She stopped walking. Then where will you go? Anywhere the rain ends. Her voice cracked. You gave up your life. I turned to face her. No, I gave you a home. Her tears mixed with the rain. Why? Because someone once gave me the same. She shook her head. You don't owe me. I don't owe anyone, I said. That's the point. We reached the stable. My horse Milo stamped and snorted. He hated the thunder. I saddled him slowly, feeling the weight of every motion. Evelyn watched me. You can stay, she said. It's still your home. No, I said. It's yours now. You'll make it better. She touched my arm. You can't start again with nothing. I smiled faintly. I started with less before. She looked down. You'll freeze out there. I've been cold for years, I said. This is just weather. She stepped closer. Take me with you. I froze. What? You can't walk away alone, she said. Not after this. I can, I said. But I won't if you ask me to stay. Her lips trembled. I'm asking you to let me come. The rain grew heavier. The sky cracked with lightning. I looked at her, the woman who once begged me for shelter, now offering me something I never thought I'd have again. Evelyn, I said. If you come, there's no turning back, she smiled sadly. There's nothing to go back to. We mounted the horse together. She sat behind me, arms around my waist, head against my back. I felt her heartbeat through the storm. Where to? She whispered. Anywhere the sun still shines. We rode out of town. The rain chased us for miles. The world was gray, but ahead the clouds began to break. After an hour, she spoke again. You really gave it all away. Not all, I said. What's left? I took her hand. This. She was quiet for a long time. The wind brushed past us like a sigh. When I first came to you, she said, I thought you'd throw me out. I almost did. Why didn't you? I smiled. You reminded me of someone. Your wife? I nodded. She used to say, home isn't a roof. It's a heart that stays open. Evelyn squeezed my hand. Then I think she'd be proud. I hope so, I said. We stopped by a small ridge to rest. The land stretched wide and empty, the wet earth glistening gold under the breaking light. She climbed down and turned to me. What now? I don't know, I said. But we'll find something. She brushed the rain from her hair. You really believe that? I have to, I said. If I don't, none of this meant anything, she smiled. Then I'll believe it too. We built a small fire under a rocky ledge. The flames hissed as rain dripped from the edges. She handed me bread from her satchel, old but still good. You kept this? I asked. I saved it, she said. Didn't know when we'd need it. I laughed softly. Guess that's now. She looked at me over the fire. You could have left me in that cell. I could have, I said. But I didn't. Why? Because you were right, I said. About everything, she frowned. About what? That we can't live alone forever. Her eyes softened. And do you still believe in peace? I looked into the fire. I believe it's not something you find. It's something you give, she nodded. Then you gave me everything, I smiled. Maybe you'll give it back someday. The fire crackled. The storm faded to drizzle. The world smelled of wet soil and smoke. Evelyn leaned against me. What if I can't? Then I'll keep giving, I said, until we both forget how to take. She closed her eyes. You're a stubborn man, Daniel. I was worse before I met you. We sat in silence. The wind quieted. The night felt cleaner somehow. After a while, she whispered, You ever think we were meant to meet? Maybe, I said. Or maybe we just both needed saving at the same time. Do you regret it? Not one moment, she smiled faintly. Neither do I. The fire burned low. I watched the smoke drift upward and vanish into the wet night. Tomorrow, she said, we'll find another town. Tomorrow, I said, we start again. She reached for my hand. Together? Together, I said. We sat there until the stars came out. The land shimmered under the fading rain. The ashes from the fire blew into the air and turned gold in the starlight. Evelyn looked up and whispered, It's beautiful. I nodded. It always was. I just couldn't see it. She leaned her head on my shoulder. What do you see now? Home, I said. Right here, her fingers laced with mine. You gave me land, she whispered. I'll give you peace. I closed my eyes. Then I have everything. The wind carried our words away, soft as prayer. When dawn came, the sky was clear. The storm was gone. We packed our things, climbed onto Milo, and rode toward the rising sun. She held me tighter. Still think you lost everything? I smiled. No, I said. I just learned what everything means. The sun rose higher, painting the wet ground gold. The world glowed, empty, silent, and free. We rode until the light wrapped around us both, turning the last of the rain into dust made of gold. The air smelled like rain and wildflowers. The hills were green again. I walked out from the barn and looked over the land. It was hers now. Her name was on every deed and paper. Still, when I looked at it, I felt peace, not loss. Clara was kneeling by the porch planting roses in the soft dirt. Her sleeves were rolled, her hair tied up. The morning sun caught her face, calm and bright. "Looks good," I said. She turned, smiling. "I'm not done yet." "You never stop," I teased. "I waited too long to start," she said. "It feels right to build now," I nodded. "You've done more here in months than I did in years." She looked at the rows of growing grass. "It's your work too." "No," I said. "It's yours. I just held the ground till you came." She stood and brushed dirt off her hands. "You always talk like the land's alive." "It is," I said. "You gave it breath again." She smiled softly. "Maybe we both did." I walked closer, watching her roses sway in the wind. "The sheriff's son came by this morning," I said. She frowned. "Jacob Pike?" "Yeah, he's leaving town. Said he's heading east." "Did he say anything?" she asked. I nodded. "He said his father's gone and he doesn't want to wear that badge anymore." Her face turned quiet. "That boy carried his father's shame. I hope he finds peace." "So do I said. "He gave us truth when no one else would." She sighed. "The truth cost him everything." "Peace always does," I said. She smiled a little. "You sound like a preacher." "I've seen enough loss to learn a few lessons." She knelt again, pressing soil around the last rose. "Do you ever miss it?" "Miss what?" "The old ranch." "Your name on the land." I took a deep breath. I used to think my name meant something. Now I think peace means more. She looked up at me. "You don't regret giving it to me?" I shook my head. "No, I gave you land, but you gave me peace." "That seems fair." She stood slowly. "You still don't take credit for anything good." "I just pay my debts," I said. She stepped closer. "Then what do you owe now?" "Maybe nothing," I said. "Maybe I'm finally even." Her smile softened. "You don't owe me, Daniel." "I know," I said. "That's what makes it right." The wind picked up, moving through the grass like waves. The sound was soft and low, almost like a hymn. I closed my eyes for a moment. "I heard the town's rebuilding the church," I said. She nodded. "They asked me to help with the roof." "You still say yes to everything." "I like helping," she said. "It reminds me I'm still here." I looked at her hands, scarred, strong, full of life. "You've done more than survive," I said. "You built something new." Her eyes met mine. "So did you," I chuckled. "All I did was hand over some dirt." She shook her head. "You handed over your pride." "That's harder." "Maybe," I said, "but it was worth it." She tilted her head. "Was it?" I nodded. "Every ounce of it." We stood in silence, the air full of sunlight and earth. The old house behind us looked cleaner, brighter. The porch I built years ago still creaked under our boots. Clara looked toward the hills. "I still can't believe this place is mine." "It's ours," I said quietly. She turned, eyes shining. "Ours?" I shrugged. "That's how it feels." Her voice dropped soft. "I never thought I'd hear that again." "Hear what?" "Someone say ours," I smiled. "You'll hear it plenty now." She laughed, the sound bright like wind chimes. "You talk like you plan to stay forever." "I do," I said. "If you'll let me." She smiled, almost shy. "You don't have to ask." "Maybe not," I said. "But I wanted to." She leaned on the porch rail, looking over the field. "Everything's changing fast," she said. "That's how life works," I replied. "It dies, then grows again." She glanced at me. "You really believe that?" "I do now." Her eyes softened. "Because of me?" "Because of us," I said. "We turned ashes into a home." Her lips trembled slightly. "I don't know if I deserve this." "You do," I said firmly. "You earned every bit." She shook her head. "I did terrible things to survive." "So did I said. "But surviving isn't sin. Giving up is." She stared at me a long time. Then she whispered, "Thank you." "For what?" "For not judging me." "I couldn't," I said. "You're stronger than anyone I know." She smiled faintly. "You always say that." "Because it's true." She touched my arm. "And what about you?" "What about me?" "Did you forgive yourself?" Her question hit like a wave. I looked at the hills, breathing slow. "I'm learning to," I said. "Some days it's easier than others." She nodded. "That's enough." We stood there for a while, quiet. The horses grazed near the fence. The sun climbed higher, turning everything gold. Clara stepped down from the porch and picked up a small watering can. "Help me with these," she said. I smiled. "Always giving orders." "You love it," she said. "I do," I admitted. We watered the roses together. The dirt smelled rich. The petals were bright red, almost glowing. She looked at them proudly. "They'll bloom soon," she said. "Just in time for summer." I said, She looked at me, eyes full of light. It feels like we made it through something. We did, I said. We found our way home. Her voice lowered. You still think of your wife sometimes? I hesitated. Every day, I said. But it doesn't hurt like it used to. That's good, she said. It means I'm not lost anymore, I said. She reached out and took my hand. You're not. You're right where you belong. The words settled deep in me. I squeezed her hand, feeling the warmth of it. I thought peace was a lie, I said quietly. But it's real. I see it now, she smiled. Then we both found what we needed. I nodded. We both found home. The wind lifted her hair, brushing it across her face. She laughed and tucked it behind her ear. The sky was endless blue. The smell of spring filled the air. I looked at her, at the house, at the land that once felt cursed. It was alive again, full of color, full of heart. Clara, I said softly, yes? Thank you for staying, she smiled. Thank you for letting me. We stood side by side, watching the grass sway. The roses trembled in the wind, but stayed strong. So did we. I took a deep breath, slow and full. For the first time, it didn't hurt. It felt right. Feels like peace, I whispered. Clara nodded. It is. The breeze carried her voice away across the meadow. The light wrapped around us like a promise, warm, gentle, and endless. We didn't say anything more. We didn't need to. The world was finally quiet, and we were finally home.